Welcome, everybody. It's the end of the week. It's Sunday evening for those of us in Europe, Sunday afternoon for those over in America. And that means it's time to round out the Misfits Racing League week here around Canada with Formula 2. Joining me, as always, for F2 is Mr. Alex Bitter. Alex, how are you this evening, my friend?
Hello, Unicorn. Very good. Here's looking for to see what these drivers can do here on Canada. Is round 9, if I'm not mistaken, for F2, and this can be very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we get into the excitement of F2 and the Misfits Racing League action, we're just going to take a quick moment to pay our condolences, obviously, to Murray Walker. We've done it throughout the week. As earlier the week we got the news that he sadly passed 97 years of age. What a career! What a just amazing, totem for this sport, Alex. He's been just absolutely critical in, I think, the sport's growth and just image as well. And everyone recognizes his voice when you hear one of those old but great clips from some of the brilliant and best eras of F1, sorry, that we've ever seen. And Alex, any words to just mark what a career this man had?
Yes, of course. This man was the voice of all this sport we had and the sport we love. So just of course, rest in peace for Murray Walker, and we will be racing for him this week, and not only this week, but all this season will be on our hearts. So very important loss for the sport.
Yeah, absolutely tragic. It's so hard, but 97, what a life he led. And like you said, he will not be forgotten. He has had such an impact on this sport, and his voice lives on and will be carried on for generations of fans of the sport. But here we are, F2 on a Sunday night. We've seen so much action already around Canada this week, and we just this morning, for those of us in Europe, we had APAC, and well, that was a very dramatic race. Ben the Bear back to winning form there, but here now we've got F2. We're loading in now to that one-shot qualifying session. So these drivers, they got to get it right first time, or they're not going to get it right at all around a track where it's so easy, Alex, to invalidate a lap time.
Yes, of course, with those F1, it's very difficult to navigate this track without extending the track limits. We will see if on the F2 cars is as difficult as it is on this F1. Probably it's a little bit easier because you're without that much speed through the corners, but probably with the wheelbase being that little, probably it can be even worse. So who knows? We will see on this qualifying all these 30 drivers loading in to the session. It seems like a dry qualifying session.
Yeah, we could have someone who we don't typically see on pole take that top spot. We'll have to wait and see, or maybe someone with that little bit more experience that we're used to seeing on that top spot takes it just based upon that. But here we go. Well, they're getting everyone loaded in. Everyone just waiting to load it in. There's a couple of names I don't think I've seen before. We've got Custom on board with him now, and that's who the game's chosen. You can see that everyone on the super soft compound tire. We don't always see this. Custom's dropped all the way to the bottom, so we're going to go on board with Neon, who's up in P1 right now. We'll see what he's got to offer. Neon, he's had some bad luck in the past couple of weeks in his F1 adventures. We'll have to see if he could do a little bit better here this evening in F2. He's currently driving the Carlin car, and he's up in P1. Brain Stew, he's been doing very well in these F2 races, but we haven't, we've seen him pick up a fair few penalties in the past, and well, I know he struggled in the practice race this week, in particular with penalties around here in Canada. But like you said, we'll have to wait and see if it's a little bit easier in these F2 cars.
Yeah, meanwhile, Neon going to the hairpin here on turn 10. Seems like probably will have a good exit, but it's very difficult in this F2. It is on the F1. Let's see now. Neon puts the throttle down. It seems like a very good run into Casino Straight here on turn 12. Of course, flat out that section going down to 13 and 14. Very easy to validate all of this lap here on this track. But it seems like a very clean lap, just like Brainsteel is not there fighting for the pole position, and it will be Neon who will take this pole position by 7/10 is the gap between him and Lamp.
Well, you can see it there. Brainstew, you just mentioned, he's had an invalidation somewhere. Four-door sedan, Williams, Eric, Harlem, and Psycho all DSQ'd out of this session. There we go. Harlem joins them. And Lucky Neo, they're having some kind of connection issue, but it's Neon on pole. And, well, I'm sure he'll be particularly happy with that one, as we'll see the rest of it. He picks up the 4 points. Neon in P1. Alongside him, Lamp in the Charouz Racing System car in P2. Domi picks up P3. Then we have Maka, Rutanius in 5th. Squid in 6th. Chris in 7th. Backrow in 8th. Ace Ritchie in 9th. And Moen rounds out the top 10. Then we have Coffee Sipper and Custom, the only other 2 drivers with times set on the board. Everyone else DSQ'd for invalidating there. And, well, only 12 drivers setting a valid lap time. You've got to anticipate that that means we're going to see a fair few penalties from those other 8. But we'll have to wait and see. We won't have a formation lap, so racing action will kick off as soon as everyone is loaded in, dialed in those strategies. And it looks, again, to be a dry race, Alex. So I'm sure the drivers are quite relieved about that. We always see these guys, a lot of people struggle with the F2 cars and the differences they have with the F1. I'm sure the rain would just exacerbate that issue.
Yes, of course. Some drivers will be really, really relieved after seeing this sky. We have 17 seconds left on the timer, so we can go green flag racing here on the future race. So very, very exciting to see what these drivers can do here.
Yeah, 5 seconds now on the clock. The countdown timer just about ready to disappear. We just went on a few more drivers to finalize getting everything ready, but there we are. Everyone loading into the grid. Obviously a little bit of a different perspective, but there we are. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here on in Canada, and away we go for the feature race of F2. It looks like Moen there has had a pretty good start, as there's a lot of cars bundling into turn 1. Let's have a look. Lamp, Maka in P3 right now, side by side. He's got Domi on his outside. Maka looking to gain a position from the ART driver, but Domi hangs around the outside, holds him off for the time being, and is still in P3. Yellow flags popping up here and there, but so far we got a safety car.
I think we have a safety car, yeah. We have a safety car. I don't know who was. I think Larkino DNF'd after a crash with Coffee Sipper and Backrow. Very, very unfortunate for these drivers. Backrow now on the last spot of this grid. Larkino, as I said, retiring that car. It seems like terminal damage for BWT driver.
Well, let's have a look at what happened. We've got the top 5 all holding station. That's Neon, Lamp, Domi, Maka, and Rutanius. Then we have Chris. He's up a place, but he's got a penalty. And what is that for? Well, it's 5 seconds, so I'm going to imagine that's for causing a collision somewhere along the line. Ace Ritchie in 7th place. Squid, he's in 8th, and that's down 2 places from where he starts, so not a good start for him at all. Psycho, he's up 4 into 9th. Moen holds on to 10th. Then Eric's up 4. Custom in 12th stays the same. JA Games up on 4, but penalties to his name. Brainstew, Williams, 4-door sedan, all gaining places. Harlem, Coffee Sipper down 7. A really bad start for him. And Backrow as well, getting caught up in that incident, is down 11 places. Looking at the tyres, most people on the super soft. Eric, Custom, and Brainstew all on the regular soft compound of tyre. And well, Canada is somewhere we see a 2-stop in the F1 cars. Alex, we don't talk too much about the F2 strategy because it's lesser known to everyone. Everyone focuses on those F1 strats, but we'll have to wait and see what sort of strategies these guys pull off, whether it's a soft, super soft to softs or a super soft, soft. That's something you'd struggle to say 5 times fast, but we'll have to wait and see how the strategy plays out in this one. Obviously, the mandatory pit stop cannot be served in the first 3 laps of the race, nor under virtual safety car conditions, but so far most people so good.
Yeah, this, as you said, drivers cannot pit on those 3 first laps, so we will not be watching drivers pit unless it's for major damage on their front end. Seems like 4-door sedan and Backrow will have to pit now, and will have to pit later if they want to finish this race as a qualified driver on the tower. So right now, Neon leading, as well as Lamp, Domi, Maka, Rutanius is not changing the position. So very, very stable on the front, but of course chaotic on that back end of the list, of the grid, sorry. And we'll have a restart, I think, on 2 laps, it seems.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have to wait for 4-door sedan and Backrow to rejoin the rear of this skid. If you're just joining us, you're here for the end of the week here at MRL to round out week of Canadian Grand Prix with F2 as always. And, well, a big shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for a sim racing rig, then be sure to check them out using the link in the chat or in the panels down below. They got awesome stuff for all budgets, and they're doing brilliant things for sim racing community. So make sure to give them a check out because we really appreciate their support. But with that being said, we've got the safety car going around again. You can see back row, four-door sedan. They've just come out of the turn 10 hairpin, and they should have caught this grid by the end of the lap, and that should bring the safety car in. And when that happens, well, fingers crossed, the green flag racing can continue for longer than it did on lap 1. We're on lap 3 now.
Yeah, this driver's really waiting for four-door sedan and back row to catch this grid, and it seems like probably be on this lap the safety car release. So the safety car should come on this lap, and lap 4 should be green flag. So these drivers will be able to battle down to turn 1 and a lot of spots here on Canada to make an overtake.
Yeah, sort of opened up a little bit. You come from Monaco, you come in, you know, from Baku, and now Canada. It's sort of the start of a section of tracks where overtaking is a little bit more available. Obviously, next week in France, that's when the tracks really open up. There's so much space and runoffs. It's just going to be like letting a caged animal out and into the wild when we see these drivers just using all of that off-track space. Here in Canada, there's still a lot of walls. You can see there the safety car is coming in as that race control have made that call. And, well, I'm sure everyone here is just as excited as we are to see the green flags being waved and Neon to restart this race. He's got to wait for that safety car to come into the pit lane before he hammers down, but he can do it anywhere he likes. We saw Mecha do it very early in APAC earlier on, but here goes Neon. He's going to do it before the chicane. Sometimes people do it after the chicane to really try and separate the grid, but he's got a pretty nice gap to Lamp here. As they come down towards turn 1, no position changes here for the time being. JA Games, he's hopped into the pit lane. Ace Ritchie on the side inside of Chris down into turn 1. And the Trident picking off the Charouz Racing team quite nicely. Squid now all over the rear of Chris. We'll see if he can make any moves on the Charouz in the next few laps, but until that moment, who is that? Customs had an issue.
Oh, Custom. Yeah, Custom on the high tech. Spun out of turn 2. Very bad luck for him. I don't know if he has damage. Doesn't seem like. So it seems like he lost it on his own, probably a little bit of contact with someone. But yeah, Domi was... Oh, look, Domi's losing the place on Maka. Maka had a beautiful run out of turn 7. And the Prema Racing car will be ahead on this chicane of 8 and 9. But Domi seems like has more pace on traction. No, he will actually lose it. And Rusenius on the inside of turn 9 will have that place. Domi still holding back, and Ace is lurking on the back of that ART who just, I think, notched the back part of the Dams driver.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Domi, he's lost another position to Ace Ritchie, and well, it's not been a good lap for him and a good restart here. He's dropped 3 places in the space of 1 lap. That is not how you want to be going about a safety car restart. Ace Ritchie just ahead coming through the Wall of Champions chicane, and well, let's have a look, see where everyone is. Psycho Squid's had an issue. Squid is into the barrier. He is very much facing the wrong way out of turn 14. And that is not what you want to be doing. He's trying to get this some stuff spun around, but he's got to wait for all of this traffic to get out of his way so he can safely rejoin this race. Meanwhile, Lamp is not letting Neon out of his sights. The other Charouz Racing car just hanging on to the rear of the car in here for dear life.
Bad exit for Neon out of turn 7. It seems like Lamp got a little bit better traction there, and he's really holding Neon. Neon, a very fast driver, and Lamp just, as I said, following him through all this chaos. Both leaders really extending the gap on Maka. It's already 2.2 to 3rd place.
Yeah, very, very nice safety car restart. Not only from Neon, but from Lamp as well. Like you said, really extending that gap. The battling back behind them will be helping them, that's for sure, as Customs, Squid, they're having a little battle of their own. And I don't know if Customs had another issue here, but it seems that he is dropping pace. Meanwhile, Lamp getting very close to the rear of Neon as they come down into the Wall of Champions chicane. 20 laps to in this one, 15 to go as they cross onto lap 6. Lamp setting the fastest lap of the race. He's looking around the outside of turn 1 a little bit later on the brakes, and I think that's cost him here, as him and Neon were touching coming into turn 1, but they've managed to keep it clean, and then still both running here, and they'll be very happy that they are.
Eric tried the move on Mo, and I think there was contact, and Eric lost the rear in turn 1. He will have to yield for all these drivers, and he will rejoin just ahead of Brain Steel. So it's not a massive loss, but it's 2 places and 7 seconds. I think he lost on that exchange. Very bad luck for the Spanish driver. As you said, Lamb very close on Neon. Now it seems like the gap is extended a little bit more. And now talking about Eric really close on the back of 4 doors sedan. He will try on the inside with this soft compound. It seems like it's better right now. And very clean move for doors sedan, almost losing the rear there.
Yeah, nicely done from Eric. Meanwhile, Rutanius, he's been getting closer and closer to Macca. He's having a look up the inside of turn 10. I don't think he's going to find the traction he needs to get past here, and he's got to be careful he doesn't open the door for Ace Richie. Chris Domi's lost out again. I don't know if he is running a setup that is not attuned to that hairpin turn, but that is the second time we've seen him lose multiple positions through that corners. Meanwhile, the 3 drivers fighting for P3 are coming down into the chicane, but Ace Richie, he is hopping into the pits early to get off of these super soft tires. And you've got to imagine it is a one-stop here for the F2 cars because of how long these super softs have run. They've nearly gone half of the race so far. They have been extended, though, by the safety cars. So that's worth bearing in mind for the end of the race. Rutanius now dropping off a little bit from the rear of Macca, but nothing too bad as he's in P4 at the moment. And we'll have to see whether he can keep closing this gap down.
Domi getting 5-second penalty. They're spitting on the pit lane. Ritchie got it clean by. It doesn't seem like Domi is having a good race. Now he won't be able to serve that penalty, but he will be probably if he pits again. And of course, at the end of the race, right now, Ritchie very close on the back of back row. Back row having a bad start on this Grand Prix. It seems like a spin, I think, from Psycho. Yes, Psycho spun out of turn 9, so it's dangerous. There, the rejoin. He actually made it clean. It was very dangerous, the spot where he spun, but it was clean for the Trident driver. Very unfortunate though.
Meanwhile, it's Richie up the inside into 8. He's going to look for it around the outside of 9. Can he find it here? There's just enough space between back row and the wall. And Ace Richie now on these fresh softs up into P11. Meanwhile, the leaders all coming into the pit lane. I'll have to see where everyone shuffles down. Eric right now, he's set for a brilliant time here, as I imagine he's going to let Psycho go into the pit lane now, and I think that's really thrown off the Univirtuosi driver. And you can see there he's lost a lot of time through the chicane, but he is still going to come out in P1. Brainstew 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. We've seen a few of those already. He's not alone. Let's see where Ace Richie comes out in all of this. He's already hopped up to P6. But where are the other cars? You can see there they exit onto the track on the outside line here, so they'll be going a little bit faster than Ace Richie is. There's Macca, who's going to get the better exit out of turn 2. Macca on the pit lane. You can see there, just a little bit of extra speed has held him off for the time being. Rutanius is going to try around the outside of 3. He's been put out right next to back row, and he just about gets past these 2. We've seen them race wheel to wheel in tier 3, but what is this? It's a VSC, Alex.
It's a BSC, yeah, of course, it's a BSC. I think it was, I really don't know what it was, but back row didn't expect Rutanius to slow down that much. I think there was only a little overtake, but now everything clear for Dams and High Tech driver. And Squid has a drive-through penalty for speeding on the BSC. So that's really unfortunate. I don't know how though, because it's still green, yellow flag.
Yeah, really early to pick up that, penalty. Maybe he was just coming out of the pit lane. Well, no, he's not pitted this lap, so he was around that sort of area. Maybe just took a little bit too much speed into turn 1, but well, we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure he'll voice his opinions later on that one, but right now, we've just got to wait for this VSC to end. Ace Richie, well, why is he so close to Macca right now? He's really preparing, and he's... Oh, I thought he was going to try it then. The safety car ended just the wrong moment for him. Someone else there picking up a drive-through for speeding under the safety car, but I cannot see for the life of me who that was. Ace Richie super tight to the rear of Macca through turn 1 into 2. He's obviously not going to find any space here. Can he find the exit to get into 4? No, he's not. Domi, he's into the pit lane. he is coming in, and I think he has that penalty to serve as well, like you were saying, Alex. So
Yeah, he has the 5 seconds, but I don't know what he's speeding. And I don't see major damage on that front end. So it will be costing a lot of time for the RT driver. Very, very lucky for him. Chris right now very close on Carlem. And sorry, Richie is the one who's very close. It's side by side. On the round to turn 8 between both drivers. Seems like on the inside, Richie will take the place easily on Maka. But oh, very close on the exit of 9. Richie is just kissing the wall, and Maka will try to look there on the hairpin, but it doesn't seem likely.
and you can just see Rutanius there in the background as well, sticking his nose in. And I don't think he needs to be doing it. He's a quick driver, and and evidently here he's trying to be a quite aggressive one as well, but it's not working out. You can see the time he's lost now to the cars ahead. You just don't need to stick your nose in there. Just wait. You want to be slower into the corner so you can be faster out. And well, he's just tried to overtake there, and it's cost him here. And just needs to just be a little bit more patient, I think, trying to get past in that hairpin. It's not really that successful, and you need to be on the outside line if possible. Domi right now, side by side, picking up the place from Williams, and while he's on those fresh shots, he served that penalty. That's not going to be added to his time at the end of the race. Chris has picked up P12 off a four-door sedan through the Wall of Champions chicane.
Williams will take the place again on the hairpin, but it seems like he went wide a little bit. Domi on the inside, I think, touching side pods. Both of them, Brainstorm setting the fastest lap. Williams trying to go for a space that is not there, so he has to lift, and Domi will take a huge advantage out of that. They are now Chris very close on the back of Harlem. They are both battling. I think both of them overtook four-door sedan the lap before, and now they are battling for position. They are free, and Rutanius right now as well, very, very close on Maka.
Yeah, he's again looking for it. He just needs to make sure that he can nail this exit, and again he's just sort of gone a little wide there, and he's really struggling with that hairpin. I don't think this is a deliberate sort of issue with Chris and Harlem. Speaking of issues, they've had one here. They're both sort of fighting on that inside line, both on the off track a little bit, so not to see. Doesn't look like either one of them has damage, so whatever they were doing, it seems to have been clean, and they're both still racing, so that's what you love to see. Rutanius slipstreaming DRS down into turn 1, but he's too far back on Maka, who's got DRS himself, but that's on Ace Ritchie in P4 there.
3-second time penalty for Lamb, so it will be massive for catching Neon. Seems like 2.6 was the gap, so it's not that close. 5-second time penalty for Chris for splitting the pit lane, and Rutanius very, very close on Maka.
Well, Rutanius as well, he's got a penalty in this down. Let's have a look at the penalty situation right now. It's 3 seconds across the first 3 penalties and 5 seconds for Psycho, 8 seconds for four-door. Brainstew, he's got 5. Here goes Rutanius. He's not going to get the move though. Chris Williams, they've got double digits already. 5 seconds for Brainstew, JA Games and Custom. But looking now, Rutanius, can he find it? He needs to be later on the brakes down into turn 1. Turn 10, sorry, and well, he has been later on the brakes, but has he got the exit? He's been struggling with it so far. Here's Maka on the exit. Coffee Sipper, he's picked off. Moen's had an issue. Moen is spun round. He's out of the way. That's what you love to see, but here comes Maka. He's coming back at Rutanius. 4P5. I don't think he's got any answer there, because Rutanius, he's got that DRS down into the chicane. Now, though, the tables turn. Maka picks up DRS, or at least no, he doesn't. He keeps it. That turn 9 DRS detection zone is for both straights, so he is going to hold on to that for the time being. Lamp still within 7/10. This is of Eric, though. He needs to sort of slingshot past if he wants any hope of catching Neon before the end of this one.
Yeah, sure, Eric still has to pit 11 laps on those soft compounds, so he will try to extend it through all this race till the super softs can go to the end, basically. So the reverse strategy for the Union Virtuosi seems like it's still working. We'll see where he rejoins on this track. Meanwhile, Rain's still very close on Moen on turn 3. Seems like he has to brake a little bit early to not tap the rear. And very, very good drive for Brainsteel.
There he is, all over the rear of Moen on, like these, you said, these super soft tires, and now goes up the inside of the BWT, and there's not a lot that Moen could do. Eric and Lamp, they're exchanging for P2, and well, it's pretty easy for Lamp on those fresh softs compared to Aleric's 11 lap old soft compounds, and he's staying out again. Who is that? It looks like someone else has had an issue. Is that Custom again? It is. Not quite sure what's happened to him this time, but he is again missing a big portion of that front wing. So fingers crossed he can get it back to the pit lane safely and start over a little bit fresher and try and maybe push for something, but it looks like he's too far behind to do really anything at this point of the race. And there aren't too many tight gaps. We had a fairly dynamic race for these guys today. Still a few laps to go, still plenty of room to overtake in the remaining laps that we have available here. And obviously the sprint race will follow as always here for F2, and that will be a reverse grid with the front 8 being flipped, everyone else being decided on where they finished.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Moen seems like he is not losing track on Brinsteel, still holding there on the DRS window, but it seems like Brinsteel really has the pace with this super soft compound, 5 laps old, but still not being able to push that much. I think right now it's Moen dropping out of that DRS zone, even though he has the DRS on the detection zone. Exchange between Domi and Williams on the main straight. Oh, Williams on the outside. He will try to move, but Domi closes the door on turn 2. It will be clear for the Air 2 driver. Very good move for him. Meanwhile, Rutenius and Maka, I think they exchange, or not yet, the exchange lap ago. But now Coffee Sipper on the inside of Psycho. No, Psycho actually spun. And now Rutenius on the inside of Richie, and I don't know if he had damage there breaking.
Yeah, it looks like he's lost the front right end plate, and he's really struggling out of 2. And that's a big slide for Rutenius. He's been super aggressive today, and it's just not working out for him here around Canada. It's sort of, it strikes everyone as that sort of track where you want to be aggressive, make those really dramatic lunges, and it looks so good when we get pulled off. Helium did one earlier today down into turn 13, but all the time it just doesn't work out at the best of times, and Rutenius is really finding that out. Just being patient can just be so much more successful around here. Now that end plate damage is really going to cost him. There's 6 laps left in this race, and Rutenius has got to do every single one of them with a damaged front wing, or he's going to lose a whole host of positions. And there is the first of possibly a few. Back row, 11.4 seconds behind, so Rutenius should be able to hold him off till the end of this race. Or he could just use that time to try and garner a pit stop and come out with some really fresh super softs.
Brainsty on the around the outside, but it doesn't seem like he will take the place. He will take a 30-second time penalty for exceeding track limits on turn 9. He had no other way to take that corner. Side by side, still Harlem right now on the inside. He plugs up the rear, it seems, and he was sliding on the braking zone. And meanwhile, Eric will take that pit stop. So it's only 6 laps to go.
Yeah, now Rutenius. I wonder whether he's going to pit. He's got 11 seconds behind still, but there's now 15 seconds and then a huge host of time behind that. So he wouldn't lose too many positions based on the pit and back row. He's not terribly far behind, but I think with the limited amount of laps we've got left, that Rutenius is safe by staying out. He's just not going to have a fun end to this race, and it might really just knock his confidence and knock his pace as well into the next race, because you get so comfortable, or not comfortable, but used to and accustomed to driving a car without that end plate, that by the time that you've go into a car with one again, it's just sort of feels a little unnatural. And he will be faster, of course, but it won't be at his optimal pace, and we'll have to wait and see how he recovers in that sprint race in a few moments time. Once the feature race is done and dusted, all wrapped up, and we've got that final result there. But now we're just waiting to see who is able to come on top. Maka still chasing Richie for a podium, both penalty free. The 2 guys up at the front last time we checked had 3-second penalties. It's still 3 seconds for Neon, but Lamp is on 6 seconds, and right now as it stands, Ace Richie stands to come out on top of the Charu's driver.
Eric, meanwhile, on the inside of Coffee Sipper on turn 13. Seems like a very good stance. DRS helped a lot, and he will take DRS as well on this main straight right now. Eric flying on those super soft compound, and I don't know, he will not be taking the fastest lap now, but probably he will take it on the next one.
Well, he's really pushing, and well, fastest lap would be a nice little bonus there for the Uni Virtuosi car. And on the super softs, they're the tyre to do it on literally the fastest tyre the F2 cars will ever have available to them. Not just this weekend, but all weekends. Psycho, he's had another problem. And he is trying to get that car spun around, but he's got to let go. Chris, and well, he's just really struggling to get this car turned around right now. And he's lost an end plate in the wall there, but we'll have to wait and see how that impacts him. I think he's going to pretty much guaranteed come home P13, P14. Moen on Superstocks behind him is not too far down the road. And that BWT car is going to be absolutely blistering right now in comparison to the wounded car of Psycho. And we'll just have to wait and see how that one plays out. But up at the front, Maka, he's within a second. And I think he's the only gap on this grid that is, apart from Brainstew, who's just closed in a little bit to Coffee Sipper ahead. Back row, he's into the pit lane. Surely now this is Rutainus' calling. This is telling him, hey, I got to come in now. I got a free pit stop. But it is, again, late in the race. He might just be happy with taking P5 because he should just be able to stay there now. But
yeah, but I think Backrow pitted on lap 1 safety car because he had damage, so he had to pit. And now he'll take the super soft. So if I'm not mistaken, that was a mandatory pit stop for the high-tech driver.
That makes a little bit more sense, but I'm not sure why he hasn't done that sooner. Maybe trying to keep tyres as optimal into the final race as possible, but I don't think it's going to weigh too much of a factor in on that. But now lap 17, he's in to the pit lane. Super softs. I think he's too far back on anyone to get into the top 8 for that lovely reverse grid pole position. The P8, which currently go to Brainstew, I do believe.
It should be for Harlem because Harlem has less penalties. It's 5-second difference between penalties. So right now it should be Harlem, I think, there for P8. But Brainstew really are close on Coffee Sipper on the back straight here on Canada.
Yeah, the leaders through the opening couple of corners. But like you said, Brainstew, the Uni Virtuosi. Super softs, they may be 9 laps old now, but he's still having a look at the soft compound tyres of Coffee Sipper in that Carling car. Brainstew, he's picked up another 3-second time penalty. We've come on board with him, and well, he's adding another tally to his name, and that's not what he wants to be doing as they come through turn 1 into turn 2. Uni Virtuosi car still behind, but very, very much close to the Carling. He gets a little bit of snap, not getting the traction down that he needs. And well,
he has a puncture. He has a puncture on the back. Oh yeah, he has a puncture on the left rear. Brainstew will have to really nurse this these last laps because that puncture will cost a lot of time. I actually thought it was an effect from the sun, but it wasn't. It was the rear just exploding on the back part of that Uni Virtuosi, so probably he will have to pit. It's still 2 laps and a half to go.
Well, 10 laps on Super Softs and it's burst. That is going to be a warning for the sprint race. I imagine we're going to see most people start on the softs there, given this, but as I always say, we have to just wait and see. It's not over until it's over. Back row, meanwhile, he, had to serve this mandatory pit stop. He's now right on the rear of 4-door sedan. And with Brainstew's puncture here, could back row claw himself into 8th place? I still think it's a little far back for him, but maybe not impossible for him.
Maka getting a penalty on back row and 4-door sedan exchanging positions. So right now backdoor on the points. Not only that, but will be P9 for him as we see Brainstew lamping back to the pits. Very, very unfortunate for the Uni Virtuosi driver, almost losing the rear on every traction zone. Very unfortunate for him.
Overtaken 8th for P3.
Yeah, but he had a penalty on turn 3 on this lap, so that will cost him major time at the end of this race. It seems like Richie has damage on the left end plate, so probably that's the major loss of phase for the Trident driver.
Well, can Maka get a 3-second gap with the wounded Trident car? I don't think he's going to be able to in the final lap, but we'll have to wait and see because right now Ace Richie is all over the rear of him, but it's just because of DRS. We'll have to see through this opening section whether the increased downforce on Maka's car will aid him to run away from Ace Richie enough. I highly doubt it is, but it's just the last lap and anything can happen. You can see there the Uni Virtuosi of Brainstew coming out on a new set of Super Softs. They're going to feel a lot nicer than the ones that burst just moments ago, but it's still very, very unfortunate. He's dropped a vast number of places. Coffee
Meanwhile,
for a 3 second.
Chris very, very close on the back of four-door sedan. It seems like four-door sedan really, really wants to take those points, but oh my god, what a move from Chris on the inside. I think he will go wide. Actually, yes, he has to take the escape road on turn 14, and four-door sedan will be retaking that place, but having a 3-second time penalty, but still 2 seconds less worth of penalty than his rival right now. Chris very, very close on turn 2, almost sapping the rear of the Campos Racing driver, and we have a yellow flag on that sector 3. I think it was Prince still letting these drivers by.
He's letting drivers by, but I don't quite know why, because it's not blue flag conditions. So very, very surprising there from the Italian. Well, there we go. Neon wins the feature race here after a fairly long, drawn-out race and a very, very quiet affair from Neon. Lamp as well picks up P2. Lamp on the line, side by side with Maka, sorry.
No, it was him alone,
Maka,
but the thing it was penalties. Penalties for Lamp and penalties for Maka leave Richie take that second spot on the podium. So that's why it's 0.1. It's very, very, very close between these drivers. Rutinis will take 5th place. Eric on 6th place after doing the reverse strategy. Coffee Sipper. It's like very, very close. Same penalties on Harlem and on the Carlin driver. It will be P7 and P8 for them. They have an exchange. Chris and Fordorsen on the last corner. Oh, Chris very, very close. He caught at the turn 14, but it doesn't seem like he will take the place because penalties will be worth of points for four-door sedan. So those will be points for the Campos driver.
Yeah, Psycho Moen now to the line as well. Let's see who's got the most penalties here. It looks like Moen will not be gaining the position. The only other driver left is Domi in the ART, and well, he's just having a little bit of a celebration weave down into the final chicane. And 14th place, he won't be particularly happy. He clips the wall, but there he goes to the line. And a little bit of wiggle because he knows he's on camera. But he will not be happy with P14. But that is it for the feature race. On to the sprint race. Obviously, the front 8 will be reversed. Driver of the day goes to four-door sedan in the Campos racing car. And we'll have to see what these drivers have to offer up in the shorter race with no mandatory pit stop. There we go. Neon, though, taking P1. What a drive. Very, very strong from him.
It was fantastic. Neon always have the pace here, but it's not only P1, it will be as well. Pole position, 4 points more added to the count of the Dutch driver. He's his fellow driver from Netherlands as well. Richie will take 2nd place, Lamb on 3rd, Mac on 4th, Rutinas on 5th, and Eric on 6th. Coffee Slipper as well, taking those points on the Carlin car. 7th place for him, 8th for Harlem, Backrow on 9th, and four-door sedan taking as well some points for today's race.
A good day to be a Dutch driver. We've got 4 there in the top 10. Coffee Sipper on his debut, I believe, for MRL in 7th place here in the community event FF2. Obviously, anyone in the Discord can join if they wish, but what a drive for Coffee Sipper to pick up P7 and join his fellow countrymen. A 1-2 for the Dutch in Neon and Asa Ritchie and Rutanius as well, just with that wing damage clawing it in. But yeah, if you're looking to get in on some excellent community races as well as just a brilliant F1 community, then be sure to hop in the Discord with the link in the chat. And also, before we get into this sprint race, a big shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for a sim racing rig, then they are the place to look. Go have a check out on there via the link in the chat or the panels down below. But with that being said, here we go with 12 seconds, Alex, until we get underway again. And this time, a shorter race, no mandatory pit stop. And that reverse grid, we'll see what these drivers can produce. I think it's going to be about 15 laps or so, judging by the length of the feature race. It's always just a few laps shorter.
Yeah, probably 13. I don't know how much. We have these 5 red lights here on Canada. It will be pole position for Harlem, but we will see because this can be changed because Eric has a massive start from 3rd place. He will take the lead here on turn 1. I think we have contact there on the back, 3 wide almost, but it seems clean at this moment we have a prema of Maka on the outside of both of Neon and Lamp. Routinos as well losing a place, and we have a yellow flag on sector 1. We have an exchange and 4-door and Chris. I think they tap between each other right now. Richie losing a place on Routinos and Maka winning on this start. Eric leading through 1.3 is the gap, and Coffee Sipper has a bad exit of turn 7. Harlem and Maka will take that place, and we have a safety car after spin, I think, on turn 5.
Yeah, that is not ideal. Back row out of this one. Williams kicks up a penalty for that collision as well. So not quite sure what's happened between the two and what's transpired to bring out this safety car. But what we do know is back row is out, and we have had way more positional exchanges than we did in the first one. Eric already up into P1, and he is up 2 spots. Harlem, he had a bad start, but he managed to claw onto second place. Maka, it was a brilliant start from him, Alex. He was really carving his way through the traffic through turns 1 and 2. Rutanius being one of those drivers who was looking to gain a place, but Maka had other ideas, so Rutanius holding on to P4. Then we have Ace Ritchie. He's up 2, and after a strong race in the first one, we'll have to see what he can produce here. Coffee Sipper, bad start, really bad exit out of what I think was turn 7. He drops to turn 6. A P6, sorry. Lamps down 1 and 7. Neon, he hasn't gained nor lost a place in P8. And we'll have to see whether he can produce anything here. But we are under safety car conditions. Then Psycho, Moen, Squid, Custom, Brainstew, JA Games are all up positions. Then Domi's down 1. Williams now is dropping in the pit lane. Everyone else in the pit lane as well. Behind him, Backrow's out. And he got stuck in the middle of the track, according to Backrow coming across in the chat. And then just got hit from there. So sort of a sitting duck. Not a lot you can do there. But it's just so unfortunate to see that. But here we are. Under safety car conditions again, Alex. A little bit of moment to breathe as things get ready to restart. And what a restart that was.
Yeah, Eric having those, gaining those 2 places on the start. Very good traction out of the University car. And he took both of them who were just napping there on the start. And we have an exchange here, I think, between Richie and Coffee Saper. Probably a misunderstanding on this queue of the safety car. So now we'll be waiting for all of these 4 drivers, I think it was, who pitted for new tires. I actually want to know which tires they put it. Domi on a new super soft, and that, well, seeing what happened with Brainsteel on the future race can be very risky, Unicorn. Don't you think so?
I mean, we've already seen a pair of super softs burst, and that was only over the course of 10 laps. A safety car here. It will just lessen the sort of tire wear that he experiences over the next lap or so, but like you said, that's a big risk. That is a huge risk. You know, if it was 2 laps later, I would completely see his reasoning, but we've just seen a set burst after 10 laps of use. He's going to take them at least 11 here, if my math is correct. And
but Domi will pit, so I think Domi just wanted 1 lap to take whatever set he wanted, but he didn't want to take the set he's going to put right now. So Domi's just doing 1 lap with those super soft and now putting the soft. So right now, yeah, it does make sense, that strategy. Williams as well going on the pit lane as 4-door sedan as well. Both, I think 4-door sedan putting a set of softs, and Williams seems like as well. So all of these drivers on this grid on the soft compound, some tires a little bit older, but still I think they will be able to manage to take it to the end. Oh, and Neon saying it will be raining on 10 minutes, Unicorn.
Rain in 10 minutes. Well, the lap times around here, obviously in an F1 car, they're just over a minute long. With the safety car, it's extended. Let's have a look, see what the fastest lap is right now. Fastest lap at 1:35. We haven't really had a full lap of racing, so that's a little bit misleading, but a lap probably taking these F2 cars about 1:20. So I imagine here that what we're about to see is a little bit of rain at the end of this, maybe in the last 2 laps, depending on how accurate the race engineer is there. He could be a little bit early, a little bit late with the call. So if we do see rain at the end, we have seen a lot of rain take control of these races over the past week here in Canada. The first race week where we've had some really serious rain interrupting the, as per usual, dry running that we've had. But Neon there calling out some rain on its way. We've got another lap of safety car to really extend the length of this race and really just make that possibility of rain a little bit more likely. So we'll have to wait and see. But so far, so good for the drivers in the dry. It's lap 4 of 14 of MRL F2 action to round out the week. If you're just joining us, my name is Unicorn from the UK, and Alex Billow from Spain joins me as always. And well, Alex will be back on Tuesday with Striff for Tier 3 around France.
That will be amazing. That will be amazing. Very, very, not probably the best track. Drivers don't like it. They say it's kind of boring, but I'm really sure with the grid we have on Tier 3 on Americas, which are both divisions, will be running on Tuesday. So I'm really sure it will be very exciting to see what the drivers can do. It's a track where you can see a lot of diverse strategies, soft, hard, soft, mediums sometimes, even if you have a very conservative driver, or hard to mediums or medium to hards. So it will be an amazing day for racing next week on France as the safety car is on this lap.
Well, fingers crossed we get some green flag racing. It got cut short again, another lap 1 safety car. And now, here we go. We're getting ready to restart. It's Eric this time in lead of things. And the Univirtuosi car really slowing things down to a crawl. Everyone going too wide as they get ready to react to whatever Eric decides to do. And he could really just hold them here all the way to the chicane. And that would cause a massive problem for a lot of these drivers who are getting a bit too eager and are going too wide down this straight. And, well, when is Eric going to go? He might just take them to the chicane here. And that's going to cause a massive upset.
This seems like a NASCAR restart, Unicorn. It's side by side, every driver here on the grid. Eric really low. He can do that. He really can do that. That's legal. So unless he changes his pace, it will be illegal still. So right now he pulls all the throttle down, and it seems like Rosinius had a better start on Harlem. We will see if they have a side by side. It will be side by side action on turn 1 and turn 2, as well as an exchange on the back. Coffee Zipper and Neon gaining places on Lamp and Moen as well on Psycho. So this is beautiful racing here on Sector 1. Neon on the inside of Coffee Zipper on turn 3, still side by side both Carlins. They will almost banging wheels. He brushes the wall, the Carlin driver of Neon. So now Richie as well, very close on Maka. Maka really going wide on that turn 6. We'll see if Richie has a better exit.
There's been a problem. It looks like Squid. Oh, there's a lot of cars. There's a lot of cars spun around, facing each other. They're having a little bit of a picnic through turns 6 and 7, and that's not what you want to be doing. Chris and JA Games still trying to get themselves turned around. Coffee Zipper, like you said, he's lost out to Neon there, and he's dropping back a little bit to his teammate, but everything so far so good. Brain Stew past Larkinio. Larkinio out super early in the first
Neon's
race.
spun.
Neon is out. Well, he's not out. He's managed to save his car somehow. He's actually got no damage.
Turn 10. He spun on the exit of turn 10 and rejoined on the entry of turn 10. There was like a portal between the entry and the exit of turn 10. That was really interesting to see, but he lost 10 places on that exchange. Now Coffee Zipper very close on Lamp. Actually, it was Lamp who is close on Coffee Zipper. And we have Richie as well, very close on Maka on the outside, trying the line, but it doesn't seem likely that move. Harlem on the inside of Rutenius, trying to look for the lead of this race. So Rutenius will have to yield there on turn 4, and Harlem really pushing.
Yeah, nice move from him. We got a yellow flag. I think that's just JA Games calling it a quits in the pit lane. Super unfortunate to see someone retire in that fashion. You love to see everyone continuing on. Lamp now picks off Coffee Zipper. Coffee Zipper, he's had a pretty good debut drive so far. He has got 3 seconds of time penalties to his name now. He does a look up the inside into turn 8, but thinks better of it, showing some excellent patience and some brilliant racecraft so far throughout the evening. And, well, Williams and Squid there exchanging side by side. The Dams driver just picking up the position, but Rutenius and Harlem, they're back side by side coming out of turn 10. Harlem now the run. Eric, though, giving Rutenius a little bit of slipstream. He hops over to the left-hand side of the truck. That's going to benefit Harlem a little bit more. Rutenius has really taken a lot of profit from this. Though there's still side-by-side Rutenius later on the brakes down into the chicane, and he picks off Harlem for P2. And there is a huge train behind them. Maka and Ace Ritchie have caught up. Harlem now under a lot of pressure from the Prima driver. Maka looks around the outside of turn 1, much later on the brakes. He's very experienced with these F2 cars and is shoving right now, but he's spun. He's been caught and he is into the Pirelli logo on the inside curbing, and he's having to let everyone go by. And that is not how he wanted that to end.
Definitely not, definitely not. Routine is very, very close on Eric after that amazing move on turn 14. Now looking for a better traction on turn 6 and 7. Looked like the entry was good, but not the exit. But he will have DRS on that back straight. But still very, very close. Harlem and Richie on the back as well, trying to pick up some pieces after these battles.
Here goes Brains Joe around the outside of 8, and it looks like he might have it. He's going to get a warning, though, for cutting the corner, I imagine, because he really has used a lot of the exit there. Psycho, Coffee Sipper there, side by side, going down into turn 10. Coffee Sipper a little later on the brakes. He might be able to hold it here. There's been a problem behind his four-door sedan, but Ace Ritchie, Harlem, they're side by side. DRS in favor of the Trident. I don't know if Harlem does have it as well. You can see Rutania is ahead, going for P1 on Eric. He's going for the move around the outside of turn 13, and Eric's been clipped. Eric is around. He is now facing the wall of champions. He's actually facing away from it. He's getting out of the way. Everyone's just avoiding them through the chicane, and he needs to get everything turned around. And oh my goodness, Customs as well. Psycho's off. What is going on this lap in this chicane? Neon now up into P12, and that is not what you want to see.
That was massive, that was chaotic there on the wall of champions, and Eric was clipped. I think not a lot all of these drivers were able to do. Eric really patient there on rejoining the track, so we really thank that behavior. So right now Lamp very close. We have an exchange. I think it was another incident there on the back of turn 4 and turn 5. Probably was Custom rushing the wall, so we have another yellow flags for Psycho retiring on pits.
Domi is missing an entire front wing, Alex. Not quite sure what's happened to the ART driver, but that front wing is nowhere to be seen. Again, only yellow flags, though, no safety car, and we don't really want one at this stage of the race because it would grind things to a halt for the last few laps. We'd only get about 3 laps of green flag racing.
And now Harlem very close on Rutinius. They have one less car. It was Eric as well on the battle, but he'll not be there at least at the moment. We have 6 laps left, and Lamb will take a penalty on that turn 14. It will be a 3-second time penalty. And now Richie very close on the back of Harlem. I think almost losing the braking point and almost tapping the rear of that ART, trying the better exit of turn 2, but Harlem will take cover, and Routine is still leading.
Yeah, Ace Ritchie, Harlem, both without penalties right now. That is going to be their saving grace. It really worked out for Ace Ritchie in the first race, and he could be looking at a championship here, or at least for the weekend win. Harlem defending valiantly, though, and Ace Ritchie, Lamp, he just came right across him around the outside. Just turned in a little too early there, and he spun himself around. And, well, Stewart's, they're going to be heavily looking at this sprint race here. There's been a lot more incidents than we had before. Lamp still trying to get things turned around. He's on the grass there, just trying to stay out of the way. So nicely done from him to keep everything as clean as he can, but still very unfortunate for him as everyone vies to just get into 8th place. Larkinio right now holding on to that final point in the sprint race as Neon spun again. He's spun again. He's done a perfect 360. That might have even been a 720 for the Carlin car. But that is another spin for him, and what was looking like maybe another challenge at some points has been lost. Brain stew now on Coffee Sipper. Coffee Sipper, he has been quietly calm and collected, and, well...
Eric and Larkina as well. Yeah, it will be an easy move, it seems, on the Casino Straight. Eric will take another place and try to do the comeback right now on the points, the Univirtuosi driver.
Oh my goodness, who is that? Is that Lamp? Lamp has had a massive crash. Neon as well. It looks like scraping the wall of champions. Big problems for both drivers here as Squid is side by side with Larkinio picking up P9 away from the BWT. But there is some serious mishaps going on here. It is anyone's game. You've got the likes of Coffee Sipper. He does have that penalty. Rain as well might be on the way. But these people who are keeping their noses out of trouble here are just picking up free places because everyone around them is making these mistakes. They're having these incidents. And
and Neon crashed, and we have a BSC. We have a BSC. Neon crashed out of turn 3. Actually, turn 4. Oh, and that will be massive for this race. I don't know how much it will affect, but these three drivers on the top really close between each other, so they will be having an eye on the delta and the other eye on the track. So we will see when this comes green flag, we'll have the foot ahead of the others.
Yeah, like you said, the front three bunched up nicely. This VSC helping to preserve that. Thankfully, we only got a VSC and not a full course safety car, because the safety car really would have slowed things down. But a VSC, perfect thing. Chris picks up a drive-through penalty. He's down in P14. It won't play too much of a run. But Harlem, speaking of runs here, into turn one on the inside. He's spun it. He's gone too early. He's cost Ace Ritchie a little bit of time. But Ace Ritchie, he's got the reactions. He's got the experience to avoid that one. And now he just needs to stay within Rutenius' penalty. You can see there, Brainstew picks off Harlem as well. Brainstew, no penalty. Harlem, no penalty. They can still fight for Rutenius. We haven't got any timings here, but Harlem off of the podium up for the time being. Brainstew on it, and Ace Ritchie on for a win in a race where he came P2. We have no timings right now. It looks like Chris might have had a problem. He has the Charouz racing car. It's just waiting to rejoin the track after turn 10. We have had some monster issues here for the entirety of this race. Drivers just struggling for some reason, Alex, in this sprint race, when the first race was super calm and uneventful in this sort of department.
Yes, I think they have a lot of pressure to perform on a race where it's shorter, so they have to do the moves quickly. But Harlem went a little bit hot there on turn one, and I think that he understeered on the side of Rutenius. Rutenius had not option there to avoid the contact. And now Ritchie will be the next one, just kicking the door on Rutenius. So slipstream for the Trident driver, and DRS as well on turn one. He sets the fastest sector 3 on this race.
Yeah, nicely done from him. We've got timings coming back in now. Eric and Moen, they've exchanged down going into turn one. The Univirtuosi picking off the BWT. And if they can stay within 6 seconds of Coffee Sipper, they will pick up the place there. They're not inside Macca's 3-second penalty, but they might get the Carlin as they battle down into turn 3 and 4. And nicely done from the Prima driver to get that one done. Lamp retires in the pit lane. Sad to see that, but he hasn't had the best of races. That incident through this corner here as Moen follows Eric, the newly appointed P7. As Moen is really struggling a little bit for traction. I just see him making slight increments to his steering. Obviously, Moen, a pad driver rather than a wheel, so can't make the smoothest minor inputs, but you can see it. They're really just trying to adjust it here to get it to where he wants to go.
Yeah, now Ritchie on the Casino straight. DRS open slipstream for the Dutch driver, and his fellow countryman will not be happy because he'll be losing this first place. Of course, he had the penalty, but still he's on track where the drivers won a battle and not on penalties. But it seems like a better exit for Rutenius. DRS will be for Ritchie. So we will see. It doesn't seem like an exchange will be likely, but Rutenius goes down the inside on Ritchie. Ritchie leaves the space, and he will be leading on turn 2.
Rutenius right now, I said it earlier, he just seems to be super aggressive today. He just is going at moves that he doesn't need to be doing. He has the penalty. He cannot contest Ace Ritchie here. He doesn't have, too much to offer in terms of this. He just needs to sit behind him.
What a move! He will try the move on turn 6, but it doesn't seem. Ritchie is still leaving the space, and look at that. Is that some drop of rain? I think I looked someone. It seems like drop of rain on turn 6, but I'm really not sure.
There is rain. It's raining.
Of that.
Rutenius, this is why he didn't need to be battling with Ace Ritchie. He picks up a 3-second time penalty. He'd already lost the gap to Brainstew. Thankfully for him, Harlem, Macca, and Coffee Sipper all have penalties of their own, but he is really struggling right now, and well, he's just put the final nail in his own coffin. He will not be finishing in P1, and he won't be finishing in P2 if this continues. Eric, Coffee Sipper, side by side. Coffee Sipper managing to hold on to the position. Eric must have gone super deep here, but the exit for the Univirtuosi might be a little bit better. DRS for him on the Carlin car. Coffee Sipper, a little bit of lag coming out of that car. He's just jostling around a little bit on track, but still no problems for the Univirtuosi to take him around the outside of the first corner of the chicane at the end of the lap. Meanwhile, Moen and Squid, they've exchanged. Moen up into P8.
Squid had a really bad exit of the... but of turn 14 he had a penalty as well. He was leading this race on the beginning, but now after that spin, the comeback will be more difficult. Brain still really closing the gap on Ritchie and Rutenius. He has no penalties. Rutenius has 6 seconds and Ritchie without any of them, but it's still very, very close. And Rutenius will try to take that place on the inside of turn 8. Think they kiss the wheels, but it's not enough for any major contact. Brain still will take 1, will take 2 out of turn 9. What a move from the Italian driver on the Univirtuosi car, and Rutenius as well on Ritchie. It's raining a lot, and this is mayhem, Unicorn.
Yeah, well, Brainstew, like you said, no penalties. Ace Ritchie didn't have penalties either. And now Brainstew is on for the win. So it's the last lap. There's nothing Ace Ritchie can do about this. The Trident here has been cost by Rutenius, who now loses P1 and P2. We were expecting it. He shouldn't lose P3. Well, you got to say it's a little bit disappointing for him, but he's managed to mean that it's an Italian rather than a Dutchman on the top spot, not only for himself, but he's cost Ace Ritchie the win here as well, I think. So very, very nicely done from Brainstew. Ace Ritchie will not be happy that Rutenius put him under so much pressure for not really a lot of gain for Rutenius himself. Harlan picks up P4, Eric P5, Maka P6, Moen in 7th, 8th for Squid, Larkinio comes home in 9th. Coffee Sipper is dropping like a stone with penalties, but it's been a brilliant drive from him, showing some really nice racecraft on his debut for the MRL. 11th goes to Customs. William will finish to 12th. And four-door sedan is all the way down in 13th at the moment. Everyone else, we've had 6 retirements this race. Here comes Williams through 13, through 14. And the SMP racing car to the line. Raindrops falling. He's doing a little bit of a celebratory weave. And there we go, P12 for him. 5-second unserved penalty. Four-door sedan then will be the last driver to cross the line. And what a race that was. That was a lot more action-packed, I think that's fair to say, than the first race. But certainly a lot more dramatic. And I think for the stewards, they won't be happy about that. A little bit of a grass cut for the Campos racing car, as he weaves just a little bit too aggressively across the line in Jack Aitken's car. But 13th for four-door sedan. Everyone else retiring from a very dramatic race. Brainstew, a very well-deserved driver of the day. And I can't imagine he was expecting to win that one, but he did. And there he is, taking his top spot on the podium with a nice little dance to top it off. And, well, Ace Ritchie, P2. That could be very nice for him overall in the weekend. It should have been P2, P1, though, he'll be thinking. But not to be for the Dutchman. The other Dutchman, Rutenius, well, he was being very aggressive in that race. Both those races. And he's picked up P3 for his efforts. But, got to say, it could have been P2 if he played it a little bit more calm. But there it is. Brainstew again from 16th on the grid. Alex picks up P1. Ace from 7th to 2nd. Rutenius from 4th to 3rd. Then we have Harlan from pole to 4th. Eric from 3rd to 5th. Then Maka behind them in 6th. Moen in 7th place. Squid from 19th to 8th. And Larkinio from 20th to 9th. Both showing some brilliant pace and overtaking there to just keep themselves clean. Again, Coffee Sipper from 2nd to 10th. Really unfortunate. 9 seconds of penalties there. Cost him big time. There's a lot of drivers here without them. Then Custom in 11th, Williams in 12th, Four-Door Sedan 13th, Lamp 14th, Chris 15th, Neon 16th, 17th, Domi, 18th, Psycho, JA Games in 19th, and Backrow 20th. A lot of those not finishing. But let's have a look overall. Ace Ritchie beats Neon by 1 singular point. 18 points in the first race, 12 in the second. Neon 29 with 25 in the first race and 4 for getting that pole position. Rutenius 3rd overall, 10th. Or 10 points, and 2 for fastest lap in the first race, I think. And Brainstew picks up fastest lap and 15 points for the second race. And he comes home in 4th. Maka in 5th. Lamp in 6th overall. Eric in 7th. Harlem in 8th. Coffee Sipper, 6 points to put him in 9th. And Backrow rounds up the top 10 with 2 points. Tied with Moen in 11th. And then Four-Door Sedan and Squid both on 1 singular point. Everyone else being Larkinio, Custom, Williams, Chris, Domi, Psycho, and JA Games failing to score a point. But that wraps up F2 and wraps up Canada. Alex, what a race that was. What 2 races that was. What a week it's been. Any closing remarks before we raid someone in the F1 community?
That move from Brainstew was amazing. That has to be on the highlights. Yes, that move, there was double overtake, rainy conditions, a lot of loss of grip there on the hairpin, and well, just amazing as we saw. So yeah, very happy to see all of these moves on this track of Canada, and really excited to see what these drivers can do on France, not only on F2 but on all of 5 divisions we have on next week.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're wanting to tune in, the first race of the week, kicking off the week-long action here at MRL around the France track, we will be having Tier 3. That'll be on Tuesday, same time as this, 8 p.m. GMT, 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for those in America, and that'll be Alex and Striff commentating that one. And obviously then Wednesday and Thursday, same time again for Tier 2 and Tier 3. America's is Thursday night for those of us in Europe, and Tuesday evening for everyone in the Americas time zone. But with that being said, we are just about done here. Make sure you get yourself in the Discord to make sure you are notified when we go live, as well as just being part of an awesome and growing F1 community. And also check out Next Level Racing for all your sim racing rig needs. They've got some awesome products over there. The link is in the chat and the description. !NLR if you want to check them out, and we'd greatly appreciate you do so. They're doing brilliant things for the sim race community. And make sure you check our YouTube as well for full race replays as well as highlights of the week across all our divisions. But that's it for us. That's it for Canada. We'll be back next week with France again kicking off on Tuesday night, same time as this. But for us, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.